Now the number one ranked team in the 2014 USA South Coaches Poll is Maryville College. The Fighting Scots have claimed back-to-back USA South titles under the direction of head coach Mike Rader. As the 2013 co-conference champions, the Scots made their first ever NCAA Division III championship appearance, which capped the season at an 8-3 record overall, while finishing 6-1 in conference play. On offense, the Scots look to return a very impressive offensive line led by All-American Rance Hightower. The offense will be led by quarterback Evan Pittenger, who's Evan's here today. Evan, wave, thank you. And standout Ed Johnson. On defense, the Scots look to Gabe Johnson and Zach Capehart to anchor a talented defense. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Rader of Maryville College.
Well, the first thing I want to do is just thank everybody, and I want to kind of come at this a little differently. I want to thank my family, and when I say my family, I'm including obviously my family at home, but I want to include everybody here. From day one, you guys have embraced everything that we wanted to do. I look at my coaches. I consider you guys part of my family. You know, I look at our players, part of my family. Coach, you don't even know this, but his family is right there, and his mom is right there. And that was probably the biggest compliment. I don't want to speak for you, but as a parent now, that means a lot. But he's not the only one. You know, we got a team full of them. And I can sit here and I can talk about our defense, our offense, our special teams, but I think my guys know me well enough that it takes all of us. And I'll add the recruits coming in. I'm so excited for the competition. And that's what makes it great, man. I asked Coach Adams, man, how you ready? He said, I'm ready, I'm scared. And I looked at him, I said, it never changes. I'm ready, I'm scared. Those emotions, they never go away, and I think that's what makes it great. You know, we get to go out and compete in the greatest game. We get to impact lives, you know, and we get to look at these young men and watch them grow and put them as productive citizens in the real world. And that's really what it's all about. You know, I want to thank, you know, specifically, you know, it's been a wild ride in my personal life this year. You know, I want to thank the administration for having my back and knowing that, you know, if I look kind of crazy this spring, you know, there's a good reason. You know, I want to thank my wife especially, you know, and I think I can speak for all of us coaches' wives and what they put up with. I told her the other day I'll see her in November, you know, and I kind of jokingly, I mean, but it's kind of how it is. And she's a phenomenal coach's wife, and now we have 3 baby boys. You know, we had 3 children in 1 calendar year, so this has been nuts. But I want to transition into coaches, and Coach Goss hit a lot on it. You're right, man. You know, I'm going to brag on them. This is a championship staff. I have a small part in what I do. I try to do my part as good as I can, but I try to delegate as much as I can to those guys, and I want them to grow. Our staff meetings are phenomenal. We challenge each other. We bring great ideas. You know, I heard this a long time ago, and I think it's so true. When you're the head coach or you're the president or whatever, and somebody at your staff comes up with a good idea, how do you handle it? And, you know, as you reflect on that, there's a lot of power in that. You know, and the ego side of you're like, oh, why didn't I come up with that? But you've got to sit back and you've got to analyze and you've got to say, man, that was a good idea. You got to get rid of that emotion and you got to say, is it the best for what we're doing? And there's a lot of things in what we do, but I thank these guys every day for their work, and I couldn't do it without them. You know, and the biggest, I guess, obstacles, you know, 2 years, you know, the last 2 years I've been sitting up here, we've been preseason 4th. You know, now we're 1st. That doesn't really mean anything to me, honestly. You know, preseason rankings, that's great. I want postseason. We all want postseason rankings. And I want to tell everybody here, I want to give everybody the confidence that, and I'll be honest with you, that maybe I didn't necessarily have going into the playoffs against Hampton-Sydney. There was a moment when I asked myself, are we ready to compete at this level? Are we ready to represent Maryville College, USA South? Can we go in and dominate? And after the first quarter, I can tell every man here, you can do it. We all can do it. We can beat them. Our administrations are supporting us. We've got the coaches. We're going to get the kids. We can compete at a national level. I almost set it up in our head coaches meeting, but I wanted everybody to hear me say that now. Whoever makes it, go and win. You can do it. Make sure your kids understand that. I feel like a bad head coach sometimes because I even saw in their eyes a little bit of, oh, are we even supposed to be here? But there was that moment after the first quarter where physically I think we were all shocked at what we were doing. Now, we didn't win the game. And I think we all learned a lot of valuable lessons. And I even said on our highlight video, after walking off that field, I know without a shadow of a doubt, somebody in this conference can do something big time. And I see it coming. And I just wanted to give everybody the confidence to go back to your kids and let's compete. Let's show everybody what this conference is all about. Thank you, man. This is a blast. You know, I would love to do this event here every year. We've got a great facility. We're kind of in centrally located for everybody within the conference. You know, our SIDs, I mean, man, you do a phenomenal job, Etch. Thank you for putting all this together. Everybody else that was involved, thank you for this. And I'll turn it over to questions. Man, I mean, you know, first and foremost, I give all praise and honor and glory to God for even being here. I remember the moments when I first got hired. I was so stinking scared sitting in Pearson's dorm by myself trying to figure out how I'm going to hire a staff. You know, and there's one thing that I've learned as a head coach. You have zero control. You think you have control, but you're only tricking yourself. Now that I have 3 kids, there's so many things that are out of my control that I'm tired of stressing over them. You know, and I've given them up, and I don't want to have that control. I just want to hire good people. I want to train them. I want to love on them. And if there's one word, I guess, that solidifies us, and my kids are probably sick of hearing me saying it, but I try to love on everybody. I don't care who you are. I try to show you your role. I try to show you your value, and I try to pour into you constantly. And I challenge our coaches to do that. Screw the outside of the kid. Go after the inside of him. I tell them that all the time. They probably get tired of hearing me say that. X's and O's is all great. But unless, and Coach talked about the effort, that's all I care about. I want them hitting you in the face every single play for 4 quarters. If we can do that, then I've done my job. Then I'm teaching them something they can take with them for the rest of their life. Yeah, I don't have the answer to all those. I think, in my humble opinion, competition makes everybody better. You hear my guys, I tell them, I got a class coming. They're coming. You better be ready. And they know that. They're all shaking their head and they're smiling because they know I tell them that all the time. And here's the deal. I've got my kids right now that we're training, okay? And there's this gap. I've got my recruits, and they're coming. How fast can they close that gap? How fast can my returners, or they're trying to extend the gap. But when it merges, what happens? And those transition points. How do you keep your team from not killing itself when you got some young guys catching old guys and old guys get their feelings hurt? And those are the things that I'm thinking about a lot right now. But I want to create competition, even within the staff. Anything else? Thank you.